Good morning, students. My third standard student, I am your Sophia Miss. Last year you have learned maths with me in your second standard. Today you are promoted and you have gone to the third standard. So I am going to be your teacher again for third standard mathematics. This is your book. This is how it looks. You have to come and collect it as soon as possible from the school. Okay? And this is how your book looks inside. This is your index. This is your first chapter. What is your first chapter? Shapes, right? Now I'm going to teach you about this. Okay? Here I have already written for you what all this chapter consists of. Okay? In shapes you have sides, corners and diagonals to understand. And then you also have patterns and you have tangram. Tangram, you remember children, last time I had brought it for you and I had showed it to you. In any case, today also I'll try to do my best to make you understand that. Now, when we talk about shapes, generally you would have studied in your second standard about two-dimensional shapes like the square, circle, triangle and rectangle, right? You have studied all these four shapes and I think you remember it. And we had also learnt the three-dimensional shapes like cone, sphere, cylinder, right? And your cube, and you also have cuboid. Wait, I'll show it to you. Yes, once again. Your sphere is more like your circle, but it is a three-dimensional object. Okay? Your cube is more like your square, but again it is three-dimensional, right? Your cuboid is again like your rectangle, right? Similar. Even your cylinder is kind of rectangle and the circle together. And your cone is very similar to your triangle. So these are your two-dimensional and three-dimensional shapes. Now in your two-dimensional shapes, triangle and other shapes, I am going to teach you what are the corners, what are the sides and what are the diagonals. Okay? So here we see that in this particular figure, you can see that I have here a triangle. So I am going to tell you how many sides are there in the triangle. This is one of your side. This is the second one. And this is the third one. So totally how many sides are there? 1, 2 and 3. So sides in a triangle are 3. 3 sides are there in a triangle. Now you need to understand what are corners. When two straight lines join at a meet at a point, that is called a corner. So this is one of your corner, this is the second one, this is the third one. So again, like sides, even the corners is equal to 3. Okay? Now I'll move on to this and then we'll come back here when we are teaching diagonals. Okay? But I'm going to move on to this one. See, this is a square, right? Any quadrilateral which has equal sides is a square. You also know any quadrilateral that has two sides equal, that means this side is equal to this one and this side is equal to this one, then it is a rectangle, right? So anything that has four sides is called a quadrilateral, and the one which has the same equal sides is square, and the one which has two opposite sides equal is a rectangle. And this is another quadrilateral which is not a parallelogram and which does not have even same sizes. It is a different, totally a different figure, right? You wouldn't have seen this before. So you can see this and you can learn. Now here, what are diagonals? First we are going to see the sides here. How many sides do we have? 1, 2, 3 and 4. So here we can write sides is equal to 4, sorry, and that is why it is called quadrilateral. Quadrilateral is denoting 4. Okay, so 4. Now how many corners do we have? Here we had 3. How many do we have in this? Let's count. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So again here corners also of 4, right? So we have 4 sides, 4 corners. Now what are diagonals? When the opposite corners meet using a line, that is called a diagonal. Okay, this corner and the opposite corner is this one. When you draw a line from that corner to this corner, this is called a diagonal of that particular shape. Now we have here how many diagonals, children? 1, 2. There are 2 diagonals, right? The same is the case of a rectangle as well. If you try to make a line to join these 2 corners, you find one diagonal. Then you have this one, right? And the opposite to this one is this corner. So you're going to connect these 2. I'm sorry, it is a little slanting, but it actually is a straight line, supposed to be a straight line. Now this is your another. There are 2 diagonals even in the case of rectangle. If you see, when we write the sides, corners and diagonals for a rectangle as well, you can see there are how many sides? 1, 2, 3, 4. What is special about this is this side is equal to this and this side is equal to this, but there are 4 sides and there are 4 corners. 1, 2, 3 and 4, right children? There are 4 corners, 4 sides, and there are 2 diagonals, just like in the case of a square. Now let us see this shape, which is not a square or a rectangle. It has different sides. Even in this case, if you see, how many sides do we have? We have, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3 and this is 4. We have 4 sides again. That is why it is called a quadrilateral. Okay, if it has more sides, the name will change according to the number of sides. Now, how many corners do we have? We have 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 corners. And again, if you see from that corner to this corner, when I stretch a line, it is called a diagonal. So here we have again 2 diagonals, right? For any quadrilateral, you're going to have 4 sides, you're going to have 4 corners, and you're going to have 2 diagonals. Now let us come back to triangle. How many diagonals does triangle has? Now we see that we have 3 corners. So opposite to this corner, there is no corner here. If we make a line, it is not going to be called diagonal, it's going to be called a median, or it can be called as an intersecting line, but it is not going to be called as a diagonal, because from one corner to the other corner, when you connect a line, that is only called a diagonal. So in this case, our number of diagonals are going to be nothing but 0, because we cannot make any diagonal in a triangle. So this is basically how you are going to understand that what are sides, corners and diagonals. So for triangle and quadrilateral, I have explained it to you, and you also have an exercise here which we did in your WhatsApp classes, right? Remember, this we had done already. So this is what I have explained it to you. Now it is more clearer for you to understand, right? Now we're going to see what next we have. Now there are some true and false statements. Children, I believe you must be knowing this by now, but still I'm going to go through this with you. A triangle has 4 sides, right? No. See here, we just now counted and we have written. How many sides does a triangle have? 1, 2 and 3. So this is a wrong statement. The first statement is a wrong statement. Second one says a triangle has 3 corners. Does a triangle have 3 corners? What have we written there? Yes, it has 3 corners. So the second one is going to be a true statement. Okay. The third one says a quadrilateral has 3 sides. But I just now taught you that quadrilateral, the word quadrilateral comes because it has 4 sides. So the third statement is a wrong statement. The fourth one says a quadrilateral has 4 corners. So let's see this one. How many corners does it have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is correct. Okay, and it says that quadrilateral has no diagonals, but we see here that for every quadrilateral, in every case we had 2 diagonals. So the last expression again is wrong. Okay, last statement again is wrong. Now children, if you see it, look at your book. Here they are asking you to differentiate between a 2-dimensional object and a 3-dimensional object. I have already shown you. This is what? Is this a 2-dimensional object or a 3-dimensional object? You can touch it, you can feel it, you can tilt it and see various sides of this. this is a three-dimensional object. Whereas if you look at this is just a two-dimensional object for you. Okay, so here you have to look at the pictures and you have to check and do the homework and tell me which are the two-dimensional objects and which are the three-dimensional objects. Okay, now your fourth question. Now it is slightly different because you have sometimes hollow objects and sometimes you have a proper solid object, right? Now if I show you this one, see, this is hollow from inside, right? This is hollow, right? So what are the things here mentioned? Okay, when you see a iron rod, it is a solid object. So here in your fourth question, many of you had done mistake in this particular question. That is why I am doing it again here. It says color the solid cylinder with red and the hollow cylinder with green, and there are 4 options given over here, right? One is an iron rod. Iron rod is a solid object. It's not a hollow rod, right? So this is going to be colored in red color. Now plastic pipes, the pipes that they use in your house, right, for water, that is a hollow pipe because the water flows inside that and comes. So this has to be colored in green color. Now candle, is the candle hollow? No, it is a very solid candle which is totally filled, right? So this has to be colored in red color. Again, a thread reel. You would have seen your parents using that thread, and if you see, you can see through that, right? There's a space from where you can see through that. So that is a hollow thing. So again, that has to be colored in what color, children? Green color. Okay, so this exercise of yours is over, and whatever mistakes you would have made, you can make a correction of that. Okay, next we are going to move on to patterns. Okay children, now since you have understood about the sides, corners and diagonals and everything I have covered, your first exercise is also over. Now our next topic is patterns. So I am going to continue with that in your next classes because I want you to clearly understand this, and then we'll move on to the next topic. And whoever has made any mistakes in your exercise, the first exercise that is there in the book, please correct it. Okay, and if you have any doubts, you can always WhatsApp to me. I am available for you. Okay, and students, since we all know that we have this pandemic going, right, and because of this coronavirus, you should not be going out. When you go out, don't forget to wear your mask. Please do wear your mask whenever you are leaving your premises, and use your sanitizer every time you go out so that you can keep your hands clean and you will not get affected by corona because of this. Okay, so it was very nice taking class for you, and I'm eagerly waiting to meet with you again with the next topic. Okay, so all of you have a good day. Thank you.